Well, DoorDash just told us a bit about what type of orders are most popular right now in 2025. When does Dasher supply change the most, and what they're focusing on for the rest of the year in this Q1 2025 earnings call. And I excitedly listened to the entire thing for you, just mining out what's most important for you and I as Dashers. Firstly, big news here on acquisitions too. In fact, first UK-based food delivery platform Deliveroo, that agreement was actually just secured. So if you're watching this in especially a UK-based or surrounding marketplace, or even international, look for more of a DoorDash presence in your marketplace. Number two, software company 7 Rooms. It's a restaurant and hospitality software platform that, yes, DoorDash just acquired for an all-cash transaction, just $1.2 billion. Okay, but to you, the Dasher here, what type of order do you think is most popular right now? Or at least they're all growing. I mean, DoorDash says, hey, our monthly active users, this MAU monthly active users, that's going up year over year. It's basically every year, every quarter, more people are using DoorDash, and average order frequency also is increasing to an all-time high. But they're engaging across multiple categories. So that new vertical, if we can even call it a new vertical now, is grocery and retail. Additionally, DoorDash CFO Ravi Nakonda commented not only are these new verticals growing, grocery, restaurant growth, of course, but more customers than ever are using both, and the basket size or the average order amounts on new verticals is also increasing as well. They were asked about lower margins perhaps on Deliveroo, and in this case, Ravi answered, specifically addressing how to increase these margins, that there's natural seasonality in Q1, that's January, February, and March, and Dasher supply naturally gets better throughout the year, as Q1 is typically, quote, a strong growth quarter. Tony echoed this, citing scalability while also improving the underlying profits, which would increase margin here. But if we're talking Dasher supply, if Q1 is a natural growth phase for DoorDash, what is also related to Q1? Typically, it's the busiest time for Dashers, typically around February to be exact here. So if Ravi mentioned Dasher supply gets better throughout the year, especially in Q1, Dashers might see higher earnings in Q1. More Dashers want to earn, more Dashers are signing up to that platform. What does that do? Like Tony mentioned, citing the scalability, we now have more supply Dashers, which might decrease margins. And they can decrease margin because perhaps they have to pay less bonus pay, less incentives, less capital to try to get new Dashers because they have Dashers. Back to the same thing though that I've been citing you need to pay attention to if you're a DoorDash Dasher, and if you are, let me know if you like these kind of orders. If you've seen more of these types of orders, it is still that new verticals, grocery and retail. I've been talking about this. It is here. It is growing. It is a focus for DoorDash. Now here, Ravi again echoed that, saying they are pleased with the healthy grocery growth and the amount of share, and they keep gaining market share in the grocery space. And frankly, this was a lot of the conversation during this call. It was grocery. So let me know if you've been seeing more of those. I would still like an item count filter on Shop and Deliver on grocery that would say, not only can I, turn off Shop and Deliver, but I'll turn it on, but give me an item count filter. Only send me shops with 10 items or less, 15 items or less, etc. And think about this. If you're a DoorDash and you have a strong supply of Dashers and you anticipate, which is what they're talking about here, grocery to only grow, more and more customers are using it. They're adding more and more, and they talk about this on their blog. More stores, grocery stores, merchants that are supplying the grocery offers. So we have a good Dasher supply. we have more and more choice on grocery offers. And then of course, consumers, as long as you convert the consumers, you market to the consumer, and you encourage more grocery runs, why not have an item count filter for dashers? Because you already have good supply. You could arguably have even more dashers that would take grocery runs like myself, because some dashers don't want to do 30 item or 25 item count shops, but they will. They'll accept more offers, a higher acceptance rate on grocery offers if we had that item count filter. And again, staying on grocery, Tony was asked specifically, what can they do to improve their grocery offerings and actually exceed an in-store experience, which means ordering groceries on DoorDash would be better, more attractive than just going to the grocery store yourself. Of course, affordability, that's kind of the main thing you think about. But Tony mentioned there's, quote, a long runway to make that experience 10 times better than the in-store experience. And personally, I feel like there'd be a lot you'd have to do to make it that much more appealing than going to the grocery store. But he did cite exactly how they do this. Again, affordability, high accuracy of delivery items, high service, a fantastic support experience. He cited a newer double dash product example, shopping from multiple stores on the same go, being able to compare your shopping list with possible cheaper alternatives as suggested from DoorDash. So how could they make the grocery shopping experience better for not only customers, but for dashers? Well, think about what, for instance, Walmart Spark has done for their in-shopping experience. They've added site maps. So if you're unfamiliar with the store, which is a real problem, if you've never shopped in this market, sub-market, area, whatever, you haven't shopped in this store before, at least it gives you an idea of where to go. And I do feel like, I've said this for some time, let me know if you find this to be the case, that customer tips might be more on grocery runs than even arguably parcel and food delivery, because the customer would know you're shopping, you're going through their entire list, you're hand selecting produce, you're looking at substitutions if something's out of stock. So it's more effort, and carrying like all their 15 grocery bags, whatever it is, they might tip more on those offers. So they might actually be better offers. But what else could they do to make it better for you? Actually, one more point about grocery. In this case, CFO Ravi Unaconda cited basket size is increasing. Customers are ordering more on DoorDash grocery. They're getting more used to the platform, and the number of cohorts is increasing on grocery, which just means different types of customers, age demographics in general. More people are using the grocery vertical. And then something that was right at the end of this call that was more so a focus of competitor Uber. So make sure to watch that video after this one. What Uber has been saying about this, the AV space or autonomous vehicles, how does that fit in to delivery? Well, CEO Tony Xu mentioned they're incredibly excited about AVs on DoorDash, but there's a unique problem, unlike Uber, specifically their mobility rideshare vertical. With autonomy and delivery, they need to solve the first and last 10 feet, putting the product into the carrier thing, the robot, and then taking it out, sending it on its way. Now, interestingly, kind of stunned when I heard this, he said you don't need a 4,000 pound vehicle to do that. I mean, we understand that if you're delivering a burrito or whatever it is, you don't need your entire vehicle. This huge vehicle costs money to do that. Track your income, use our earnings tracking spreadsheet at yourdriverformike.com, something. You don't technically need it if you could use something a lot smaller and or more efficient. That's why Tony continued, they're excited about their current delivery partnerships in the AV space, and they've actually expanded some of these autonomous deliveries. I'll tell you this, as someone who's been in the gig space since 2015, I encourage you to subscribe, join the team here, and like this video if you can. I think this is more so a thing on mobility and rideshare, the AV space there, than food delivery. Yes, we see the sidewalk robots, and in DoorDash's publications, it says it like pleases or wows passerbys. I don't really know about that. That's all to say, I don't see your independent contractor agreement or my independent contractor agreement being wiped clean, not being offered on DoorDash anytime soon. I can't see this being scaled, honestly, in 5 years or within 5 years, especially in the food delivery space. I think we're too far off right now, but in the mobility space with what Waymo's doing, already testing in Austin. Yes, there's food delivery testing right now. I just see it more plausible, we'll see, in mobility and rideshare, at least what I'm seeing right now. If you're a DoorDash Dasher, what are the takeaways of this call? Number one, the thing I've been tracking basically since 2023 when they came out with it, the new verticals, the grocery. Grocery scaling, you're probably gonna see more offers. There's more partners here. I would love to see new features on grocery, maybe Dasher preferences specifically. Yeah, they're talking about acquisitions here. The Deliveroo is UK based, so that's international. And then 7 Rooms, that's on the merchant end. So doesn't it seem like they really didn't talk about Dashers whatsoever? Yes, but I've listened to all of these quarterly calls from DoorDash for the past, I don't even know, 6 years, 5 years or so. It's kind of always like this because the call is for investors, not Dashers. If you want to see, though, what DoorDash is doing for Dashers, click the video right here because they did just come out with, frankly, a lot of new features. But we need to judge, of course, if the new features are actually worth it.